prison officials want R. Kelly dead. You heard me. The government, they say, has put a target on the singer in prison.
When Jay and I was in there doing Best of Both Worlds, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R. Kelly's lap. No.
R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff. And they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose.
Like the days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from JayZ. Like JayZ was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like JayZ wanted to get him killed for whatever reason.
Prison insiders are saying R. Kelly's life is hanging by a thread, and some folks believe it's not just bad luck. They say it's a setup. Word is, the government wants him gone for good, and the people behind it, allegedly tied to some of the most powerful names in the music game. R. Kelly was rushed to the hospital, and his lawyer is claiming it wasn't just a health scare, it was an attempt on his life. They believe someone tried to poison him while he was locked up, and this isn't just a random attack. The allegations point to a full-blown murder plot, and sitting at the top of that conspiracy, JayZ and Roc Nation. Kelly's attorney says a man inside the prison who was allegedly paid to take Kelly out came clean. This man reportedly said he was sent by people who knew R. Kelly had explosive info, stuff that could shake the whole industry and ruin big names.
Mr. Stein, in his declaration, has set forth the reason that was given. The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice.
And the first name on that list, JayZ, someone who used to be real tight with Kelly. This ain't the first time these claims have surfaced. Kelly's ex-cellmate, Ronnie Bowe, claimed Kelly told him that Jay tried to sacrifice him. Yeah, sacrifice. Like some wild Hollywood ritual type drama.
I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But how he felt.
JayZ later tried to distance himself, claiming he had no clue what Kelly was doing behind the scenes with those girls. But insiders, they say Jay wasn't so innocent either. Allegedly, he was involved in similar things, and now it gets even messier because Nas has come out with his own words, throwing shade on JayZ and pointing fingers about what really went down. Then right after Kelly hinted he was finally ready to spill the truth, boom, he ends up nearly dead after taking pills from prison guards. So now everyone's asking, why is someone trying to silence R. Kelly now? What dangerous secrets is he sitting on? And how come Roc Nation keeps popping up in these dark cover-up stories? Breaking updates just dropped on this wild murder plot targeting R. Kelly, and things are getting even darker. His lawyer just confirmed that Kelly was hospitalized after prison staff handed him meds that caused a severe medical emergency. But that's not all. His legal team says this wasn't an accident. This was a setup. According to Kelly's lawyer, he'd been begging for help for months behind bars, complaining about symptoms that could have put his life at risk. But guess what? They straight up ignored him. No treatment, no checkups, nothing.
In terms of proof, the most powerful piece of proof I can provide is the sworn statement of the man who says that he was solicited to kill R. Kelly. Michael Glenn Stein has provided us with a full declaration signed, and he's given his willingness to sit down for a polygraph examination administered by either side to testify in court. He has given us the details of who solicited him and when. And I think that's the key here. These are not R. Kelly's allegations. These are the allegations being made by Michael Glenn Stein, who's the person who says that he was solicited to kill Robert and sent to Butner to do it.
And now he's landed in the hospital, barely hanging on. But don't think this is just some sloppy healthcare behind bars. This goes way deeper. Before we break down how JayZ and Roc Nation allegedly connect to this madness, let's run through what actually went down. USA Today got their hands on a legal filing from Kelly's defense team, and it's wild. After Kelly got tossed into solitary confinement, prison staff supposedly gave him a massive overdose of his usual meds for anxiety and sleep. They're saying it wasn't even close to the regular dose. It was way more than he was supposed to have, and that's exactly what landed him in the hospital on June 13th.
So they say that he woke up, or Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th, and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness then. At that point, he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help him, so they took him to an outside hospital. Now, they say in addition to this incident, this overdose, right, they're also pointing to the fact that R.Kelly allegedly has been asking for months to get some medical attention to a swollen leg. R.Kelly's legal team says that once he was taken to the hospital for this overdose situation, R.Kelly brought up the swollen leg, and they allege that doctors there then took a look at the swollen leg and they found blood clots in R.Kelly's right leg, allegedly, in his left leg, and his lungs, allegedly. But his legal team alleges that once the prison was contacted, R.Kelly was then removed against his will by guards and was not allowed to be treated.
But get this. Kelly was reportedly kicked out of Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina, even though doctors warned that he shouldn't be moved yet. His legal team is calling it what it looks like, a targeted hit. This whole thing unfolded just days after Kelly pleaded to be released, saying he feared for his life. He also dropped a bombshell that someone inside was paid to take him out. On June 11th, his attorney Bob Brindley told USA Today, federal officers have solicited the murder of R. Kelly because he intends to expose the corruption underlying his federal prosecutions. They've already filed a motion to stop whatever's coming next. Brindley also spoke with News Nation, where he revealed a chilling detail, a sworn statement from another inmate named Michael Stein, who claims he was offered early release in exchange for killing Kelly. And when asked why now, why is someone out to erase Kelly, his lawyer didn't hold back. He said Kelly has dirt on powerful people tied to the government, and he was getting ready to blow the whole thing open. Now, here's where things start to heat up. JayZ's name is officially in the mix. According to R. Kelly's lawyer, the same man who admitted he was sent to murder Kelly made it clear in his sworn statement that this wasn't the first time someone tried to take Kelly out. And here's where it gets wild, because the last time someone spoke on a hit against Kelly in prison, it was during an interview with his former cellmate Ronnie Bowe. Ronnie straight up claimed that Kelly told him JayZ was behind a plot to murder him. In an exclusive sit-down with Hip Hop News Uncensored, Ronnie broke down how Kelly and JayZ had a massive falling out during their Best of Both Worlds tour. According to Ronnie, Kelly felt like JayZ was threatened by his presence, like he couldn't handle sharing the spotlight and tried to take him down from the inside.
And then he just said how much conflict they was experiencing with each other, like even during the process of putting the album together, but especially on tour, you know, like they kept having petty disagreements. And he felt like you know, JayZ, you know, kept saying things along the lines that like, man, you not bigger than me, like you act like you bigger than me. And he felt like JayZ was kind of insecure because R. Kelly at the time was technically bigger than him.
Yeah. But here's where it gets real dark. Ronnie said Kelly started receiving death threats during that tour. And Kelly truly believed JayZ was plotting to sacrifice him. Yeah, sacrifice. Not just cut ties, but actually get rid of him permanently. And it looks like someone didn't want that story getting any bigger because Ronnie Bowe was supposed to go on The Breakfast Club and spill all the tea. But according to Ronnie, JayZ blocked the appearance.
Jay a pretty powerful dude in that industry, you know what I mean? And I'm experiencing that now because I was supposed to be setting up an interview with The Breakfast Club, and they said that iHeart wouldn't allow me to do it because of the publicity surrounding my name, man. You know, it may sound far-fetched, but I know that JayZ has connections to where he could blacklist me.
Makes you wonder, what's he trying to hide? But wait, it goes even deeper. Ronnie also hinted at a much darker reason why JayZ might be trying so hard to silence Kelly. He touched on Jay's own alleged past, especially when it comes to younger women. While R. Kelly's history with young girls is well documented, like his connection to the late Aaliyah, Ronnie claimed JayZ's behavior in the industry wasn't that different.
He felt like, you know, on one of the shows, one of the events when they was in Madison Square Garden, prior to that event, he said like the days before the event, he was getting death threats that he felt like was coming from JayZ. Like JayZ was trying to basically, it may sound outrageous, but he felt like JayZ wanted to get him killed for whatever reason. I don't know if it could have been some Illuminati sacrifice type shit. I don't know. He don't know. You know what I mean? But that's how he felt.
But here's what nobody's really saying out loud. JayZ was allegedly messing with Aaliyah too, along with other young women in the industry like Foxy Brown. And while folks are quick to cancel R.Kelly, and let's be clear, no one's saying Kelly is innocent, how has JayZ managed to stay untouched by all the heat? This ain't just some made-up internet gossip either. For years, people in the industry have been whispering about Jay's inappropriate relationships with underage girls.
R.Kelly pointed out to me is that, like, he basically was saying, like, just look at how hard they coming down on me with all that go on in the industry, and look at how they never said nothing about how when JayZ was messing with Foxy Brown, she was 15. You know, everybody knew that, but nobody ever bashed him about it like they bashing me over Aaliyah. And he was basically saying he never even really messed with Aaliyah on the level that everybody think, you know, he messed with her on.
And now those whispers are turning into bold claims. One of the loudest voices, Diddy's former bodyguard, Gene Deal. He didn't mince words. He said the whole industry knows about what Jay was doing back in the day, but everyone's scared to speak up.
He kept his mother mouth closed. Because everybody in the industry, they not going to tell you. They not going to get out and say nothing because we have this no snitching, no telling the truth, or don't say nothing type of culture. But everybody know in the industry that JayZ was talking to young girls. See, I know in 99 and early 2000, he was dealing with Beyonce. I didn't know JayZ was 30 years old though. And Beyonce was 17 and 18. See, Jack could have told it, but I saw it personally. I was there at the clubs, at Eugene's, at the next games. Oh, Miss Gaines might say, yeah, that's too old, Gene. Yeah, I'll beat him up. I talked to my daughter, he that old. She's 17, 18 years old, in his 30s. Oh, don't let me catch you.
Still, a few people had the guts to say something publicly, and one of the first was none other than Nas. Nas and JayZ had their legendary beef, but this went way beyond diss tracks. Nas actually went on Wendy Williams' radio show back in the day and straight up implied that JayZ was guilty of the same kind of behavior as R.Kelly. Nas told Wendy that Jay knew exactly what was going on with Kelly and chose to turn a blind eye. Wendy even added that anybody working closely with R.Kelly back then had to have seen some shady stuff, but they all kept quiet. Not Nas, though. He doubled down. He said he wasn't buying Jay's "I didn't know" excuse for 1 second. And here's the kicker. Nas pointed out that JayZ wasn't just in the background. He stuck around long enough to drop a whole collab album with Kelly. So how's he going to act like he had no clue what was happening? According to Nas, Jay wasn't just ignoring things. He was probably involved in the same disturbing behavior.
My style, that's not what I'm going to do. Yeah, I could have put up movies. I could have showed the R.Kelly video that everybody's talking about, made fun of it, and said, yo, Jay's hanging out. When Jay and I was in there doing Best of Both Worlds, you can't tell me Jay didn't see a 14-year-old girl come in the studio and sit on R.Kelly's lap. No. You can't tell me, you want to sit here and tell me that working on that album, that he ain't never seen a 14-year-old girl come in the vicinity?
My belief is that anybody who's worked with him and been in his cipher has seen it go down.
And I pay for him. But if I sit there and did an album about women with him, I'm definitely maybe indulging. He had to be indulging some 14-year-olds, man.
If that's true, JayZ's silence speaks way louder than any denial ever could. Let's circle back to this murder plot against R.Kelly because it's way bigger than old industry beef or personal grudges. This ain't about chart wars or who headlined a tour. Kelly's legal team says the real reason someone was sent in to take him out is because he's sitting on dangerous info. Not just about celebrities, but about the feds, the prison system, and even the Department of Justice. So what's that got to do with JayZ? Oh, it connects. And the deeper you dig, the messier it gets. Turns out JayZ's got serious government ties, and they run straight through his right-hand woman and Roc Nation president, Desiree Perez. And here's the twist. Desiree isn't just a businesswoman, she's also a former federal informant. Yeah, court documents pulled by the New York Daily News reveal that back in 1994, Desiree got caught with 35 kilos of cocaine and was charged with conspiracy to distribute. We're not talking small time here. She was allegedly part of a major trafficking operation that stretched from New York to Florida to Puerto Rico. Now, if you know JayZ's history, you know Roc Nation isn't just about music. It's built on street ties and old school loyalty.
When you started selling drugs? I can't say. I don't like the way you're saying that. Let's say hustling. That sounds such a harsh way to put it. But it is harsh.
And Desiree wasn't alone. Her husband, Juan B. Perez, also comes from that world. He's rumored to have cartel connections, and he's been tight with JayZ since the 1990s. These two didn't just cross paths. They co-founded the 40/40 Club, and Juan later became the president of Roc Nation Sports. But see, that relationship didn't just spark from business moves. It goes way back before Roc Nation even existed. So now you gotta ask, what kind of business were Jay and Juan really running back then? Because let's be real, they weren't in the studio dropping tracks together. Whatever they were moving, it wasn't mixtapes. And if R.Kelly has receipts on this side of JayZ's world, then this whole murder plot is starting to look a whole lot more like a high-stakes cover-up. Now, before we swing this back to R.Kelly, let's talk about what really happened after Desiree Perez got caught with those 35 kilos. You'd think that kind of bust would land someone in prison for decades, right? But nope. According to a report from Variety, Desiree only got 5 years of probation. And why? Because she flipped on her charges and became a federal informant. Yep, she cut a deal with the government, and not just any deal. A 2014 article from the New York Daily News flat out called her the Fed's star mole. In a court hearing from June 11, 1996, obtained by the publication, the assistant U.S. attorney, Lawrence Feld, told the judge, the defendant has really worked closely with these agents. They were pushing to keep her out of jail because of how helpful she'd been, but it gets even more wild. The same article called Desiree a Manhattan nightclub manager with a long criminal record and deep ties to JayZ. It described her history as a DEA cooperating witness who later even became a fugitive. This ain't just rumor mill chatter, this is documented stuff. And here's the shady part, that article later vanished from the internet, but don't worry, screenshots of the original story are still floating around on social media, so people didn't forget. Even Dame Dash, JayZ's former business partner and co-founder of Rockefeller Records, was shook.
This is the one time that the paper did scare me. And I was like, there has to be some truth to it, is when I read about his affiliation with, informants, that he's in business for certain people. And it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. And then just based on.
Do you believe that though?
I don't know. It's paperwork.
Yeah.
So it's not to believe, you know what I'm saying? There's paperwork. So that part of it scares me because I know Biggs is in jail. I know Herb Gotti's been harassed for years over and do. I know they've been with me for years. So it just means I need to stay over here. You know what I'm saying? So I love Jay, but let's say I find out that any of that, I can't for him at all because that's how I was raised. It ain't no disrespect. I don't know how anyone else was raised. That's it. It ain't nothing to talk about. And it's real serious for me because, your friend, my man's in jail for 3 years over weed. The feds is really on me. It's not like they not. And where I'm from, that's tolerated at all.
When Jay brought Desiree in as president of Roc Nation, Dame popped up on Sway in the Morning and let it be known he wasn't feeling it. He said a lot of people close to Jay, like Kareem Biggs, Burke, already had serious heat from the feds, so for JayZ to turn around and hand the keys of his empire to a known federal informant, Dame called it straight up spooky. And when you put all this next to R.Kelly's claims that he's being targeted for what he knows, suddenly Desiree's past and her powerful position next to JayZ starts to look like a piece of a much bigger puzzle. So when you piece all this together, it's crystal clear. Kelly's attempted murder wasn't some random incident. His lawyer said it loud and clear. He's being targeted because he's sitting on explosive info, not just on celebrities, but on the feds, the prison system, and even the Department of Justice. And JayZ, he's not just standing on the sidelines. His close connection to Desiree Perez, a former federal informant with a criminal background, places him right in the center of this twisted web. You really gotta ask, why would JayZ bring someone like that in to run Roc Nation? What's he protecting or hiding? If Kelly's claims are even half true, then we're looking at a network of powerful players desperate to keep their secrets in the dark, and they're willing to go as far as murder to make sure that happens. But trust, it's not over yet. There's more to uncover. If you're digging the story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. We've got more heat coming your way. See you in the next one.